fifth grade. For today's writing workshop mini lesson, we're going to be talking about the rule of thoughts and feelings. Now, this is a two-part lesson, so look for part 2 tomorrow. But let's just jump right in. As you know, we've been beginning to write our memoirs. And as we get started, I just thought this would be a good time to jump in and kind of teach you a mini lesson that will make your writing better as you continue drafting. So I don't want you to freak out and go, oh my goodness, I didn't put this in my draft and I'm already on draft 2 or whatever. You can do this as you continue to draft. There's no rule that says you can only revise during the step of revision. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Let's face it, nobody wants to write boring stories. We want to be interesting to ourselves and to others. But what are the bottom line differences between a lifeless narrative and one that resonates or stays with your readers forever? That's the challenge. One answer is thoughts and feelings. When I read a memoir in which the writer doesn't tell along the way what they're thinking and feeling, to me, it's just a string of events. I can't care because the writer hasn't figured out why they care. Now, this could be a memoir about something as over the top as winning the lottery, getting lost on a mountain, or being reunited with a long-lost twin. But it wouldn't excite or move me as a reader unless I can go inside the writer, unless I can become them, unless I can think and feel what they are thinking and feeling during their adventure. Conversely, some of the best and most interesting memoirs I've ever read were about such seemingly mundane topics as a fort kids built at recess, or getting separated from their parents in a store, or picking blueberries and fishing with grandparents. It's not the nature of the experience being described that guarantees an effective memoir. It's the intensity of the writer's reflections, their willingness to figure out and convey what's going on inside them. In my own experience as a writer of stories and in the experiences of kids I've taught, sometimes it's hard to include the thoughts and feelings in the first draft. We're working so hard to get the events and details right. But if you find that descriptions of your thoughts and feelings aren't there in an early draft of a narrative, one thing you can do when you revise is to step back from the incident and its details. Go inside yourself and discover and capture your responses to the unfolding events of the story. In the process, you'll find the reason you're writing about this memory. You'll find your so what. Look at me with Tyler's first draft of his Fiji memoir, Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. The damp sand squished between my toes. The humid breeze slicked back my hair. It was my first Christmas Eve spent away from home. My sister, mother, father, and I walked down the beach. The sun dwindling below the horizon transformed the sky into a three-dimensional painting. The thin streak of the clouds, a crooked stroke, a painter's final touch, transformed Fiji's evening sky. The faint hum of the Christmas carols drifted across the sand from the dining hall, where the local children and community held candles and celebrated Christmas Eve by singing their traditional songs. We, on the other hand, were not so graceful with our voices at the time, belting out any lyrics that came to mind about Christmas. I bet I could sing that good if I really wanted to, my father claimed. Rudolph the Red-Nosed, he belted out of tune. Thanks, Dad, but I think I'll stick with listening to the kids. Or, of course, Marley, I said. Fa la 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 la. Okay, not Marley, just the other children. The sun had now vanished beneath the horizon, and there was nothing left but the vast rolling ocean and a few emerging stars. It was peaceful and the night was beautiful. The air was weighed down with humidity and the smell of salt. When we reached the end of the beach, we turned around and started back to the dining hall. When we arrived at the dining hall, we watched the kids sing. It was amazing that they had come there that night to sing to the people at the resort. So this was as far as Tyler got when Mrs. A stopped by his desk to confer and asked how it was going. He said, "I don't know why I'm writing about this. I think I'm going to abandon it. There's no so what." She skimmed the memoir and agreed with Tyler. So far, there didn't seem to be a so what. But she continued, "Writers often find their theme or so what during writing, if they know how to look. One place is to look inside you. As beautiful as your descriptions of the Fiji landscape are, your readers need an emotional landscape, and so do you, for this memoir to resonate. They need to know your thoughts and feelings. Tyler, do you know what an asterisk is? Here's what I'd like you to do. Read through your story with a pen in your hand, and at every point in the draft where a reader might wonder what you're thinking and feeling, put an asterisk. For example, at the end of the fourth sentence, when you were walking down the beach with your family, I'm dying to know what you were feeling. Was it fun? Strange? Was it sad to be so far away from home on Christmas Eve? It's your take on this experience, your thoughts and feelings about it, that will give it life and meaning. So now look at me with Tyler's draft after he revised for thoughts and feelings. And if you're not sure what an asterisk is, it can be found on your keyboard. It's the little symbol that's above the 8. And you actually have to push the shift key and the 8 at the same time, or hold the shift key and then tap 8 while holding down shift for the asterisk to appear. Okay? So you can see that he added an asterisk right here, right here, right here, right here, and also right here. So when he went back into his draft, he decided these would be good places for him to share his inner thoughts and feelings with his reader. That's why there's an asterisk there. Tyler found 5 places for his thoughts and feelings, and since he was composing this piece on a word processor, or in our case, a Chromebook, Miss A asked him to go back and type descriptions of what he was thinking and feeling at each of the 5 asterisks. Then tell the rest of the story, and this time try to include his reflections as he drafted. Now, in just a moment, you're going to take a look at your own copy of Tyler's final draft. By the way, this is found in the Your Work section of this assignment. You're going to read it to yourself and mark it up by adding comments on the lines in which he tells his thoughts and feelings. So please push pause and go do so right now. You're going to go into that document and you're going to add comments. Highlight the lines and add comments where you see that Tyler added his thoughts and feelings. You're going to come back and resume this video when you're finished doing that. Okay, so you're back, and I'm assuming that you went and highlighted and commented on the places where Tyler added his own personal feelings and thoughts in his draft. Could you see and feel the difference in that version? I believe you could. In this version, readers can be with Tyler. His story is deeper, more personal to him, and more interesting to us. And all he did was find the points where he decided we need to think his thoughts and feel his feelings, starting with his title. Thoughts and feelings is a technique for both drafting and revising stories. From now on, try to include your thoughts and feelings as you go. Later, when you come back and read what you've written, use asterisks at the point where you need to go inside yourself and tell what's going on there. If the draft is handwritten and there's not room on the page to include additional text, this is an appropriate place to cut and paste, or use a number code to write numbered additions on a separate sheet of paper, or to try spider legs by writing your additions on strips of paper that you staple or tape to the side of your page. Then incorporate them into the text when you write your final copy. Go ahead and turn to page 26 in your ELA reference folder and read the notes for the rule of thoughts and feelings. Follow along with me as I read it from this slide. The rule of thoughts and feelings. In a narrative, the reader needs someone to be with. If the narrative is a short story, the someone is the main character. If it's a memoir, the someone is you, the writer. Knowing your or your main character's thoughts and feelings is crucial if a reader is going to be able to participate in your story. Personal reflections, thoughts, and feelings help make a story engaging, interest, and interesting to read and vicariously experience. And personal reflections and narratives are often the source of the best so what. The themes and significances of your experiences or those of your main characters. From now on, try to include thoughts and feelings as you draft. But if you discover that you needed your first draft to get the details of the narrative right, then revise for thoughts and feelings by going back inside the story and discovering and capturing your or your main character's responses to unfolding events. When you revise for thoughts and feelings, you can insert asterisks at the points where readers might wonder. Use a numbered list for creating notes and thoughts and feelings on a separate sheet of paper, or attach spider legs to the strips of paper on which you've written thoughts and feelings to be included in the text in the next draft. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. But remember, there's a part 2. So check back for tomorrow and keep this in mind as you're working through your memoir. Love and miss you, and I can't wait to see you in person soon.